What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down some very important things that Cathie Wood said and did involving Tesla. She also gave her very important price prediction for Tesla for 2027. I just wanted to talk about that and kind of break down whether or not she's being realistic or not, and how this could actually affect Tesla going forward. But before I break anything down about that, before I talk about Cathie Wood and what's going on with Tesla's share price, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, whether it's a $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $3,000. And the best part is, any could be a free Tesla share. The offer ends in just 2 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So when it comes to Tesla, guys, when you look at the weekly chart on Tesla, you can actually look back at how the share price has moved in the past. Now, this thing is notorious for making some crazy big moves, insane moves in relatively short periods of time. And what I mean by that is, look at how Tesla has squeezed in the past. If you look at what happened, this thing went from $55 a share around April of 2020 all the way up to over 300 by the time we started 2021, right? It's 6x'd in just 1 year, in less than a year actually, in about 8 months. And it did this adding hundreds of billions of dollars to the market cap. And then if you look at Tesla, look at what Tesla did in 2021, right? Tesla was trading sideways for quite a while, especially after it tanked pretty hard due to the chip shortage and other factors like that. But when you look at Tesla, all right, this thing was around $220 a share back around August of 2021, 220. And it actually went all the way up to over $400 a share. And this was actually back in 2021, around November time, and it continued to soar. So that's pretty insane, pretty incredible how Tesla actually ran super hard in a very short period of time. It took just a couple of months for it to go from the 200s to the 400s. And then if you look at the last couple of weeks into like 2021, some of the last weeks at least, you will see that Tesla went from 250 around like October time, it was around the 250s, to all the way up to 400 by the time it got to November. So in a month and a half, this thing added hundreds of billions of dollars to its valuation, its market cap, and it just exploded. But then at the same time, you know, when stocks have high betas like this and they're very volatile, they're subjected to big drops too during capricious events. So within what, a year or so, a little over a year, Tesla went from 400 all the way down to 100 a share. It is down pretty big. And I just see this as a very awesome opportunity. It's a very awesome opportunity. But there's no guarantee the downside is done just yet. We have lots of unfilled gaps, of course. Yes, we could continue to push up a bit, sure, for the short term. For the medium term, we have to be very careful because of other factors. You just have to look back at some of the things that are going on right now in the economy. I have it right here. The University of Michigan was actually dictating the consumer sentiment survey, and they actually found that inflationary expectations are expected to see many signs of increases. They're believing that inflation is going to go up very soon by the time we get to the summertime. So this tells us right now that things are still quite unpredictable. If inflation does start to actually soar, especially as we've seen crude oil go up and some commodities go up over the last month or so, that could lead to some very bad news for the stock market, right? The Fed has been getting ready to pause, and they're getting closer to pausing very soon. But that could change if we start to get very hot CPI reports and things like that. So we have to be very careful. If the CPI is way too hot again, there's another big increase, the Fed may have to continue raising rates. They may not even have a choice. And that's going to be very dangerous for the markets. The point I'm just trying to make is the fact that there is still possibility for downside in the markets, right? It's still a possibility, but I do not actually worry about that because first off, Tesla is an amazing company fundamentally. Secondly, Kathy Wood has said a lot about Tesla, and I'm going to break down some things she actually did and said. We all know she bought about $42 million worth of Tesla stock just a couple of days ago during their earnings period when Tesla actually dropped pretty hard the day after even. She was buying the dip like crazy. Then on top of that, Kathy Wood also said that the robo-taxi boom will boost Tesla stock to $2,000 a share within 5 years. And we are not talking about like the pre-stock split levels or anything like that. We're simply looking at the current amount of outstanding shares where Tesla is currently and what her target is for the next 5 years. She sees Tesla hitting thousands and thousands of dollars a share. And that is very, very bullish news. That is incredible. She believes that Tesla is actually invested into different segments of the economy that are going to continue to grow from AI to robotaxi technology to full self-driving technology and etc. And I can't help but agree with her. I think AI is going to explode. I think full self-driving technology is the future. And I say that because of the progress we have made so far. I know Teslas are not perfect. I know it's going to take many years for them to actually fully develop FSD. But the bottom line is look at what the cars are capable of doing. We have cars that can actually drive from, two different cities which are like 30 minutes apart. They're capable of doing that without having a person even touching the steering wheel. Is it 100% safe? Maybe not, because there's sometimes issues with the beta. Sometimes some things could happen, right, that you wouldn't expect. But at the same time, there is a possibility, and there are many instances where we can actually pull it off. And this is just the beginning. Imagine the next couple of years, imagine the next decade. It is going to be revolutionary. Will it disrupt the entire trucking business or many different, taxi businesses and markets? Yes, but as a Tesla investor, it has a very different effect for the company. It really improves sentiment and actually opens many doors for more people. Now, I don't want to talk into like more details about the morality of it and things like that, of course, but I just want to talk about Tesla as a company. Now, the expected EPS for 2023, according to many analysts, is like 3.53, a slight decrease compared to like last year. Now, we are anticipating some like somewhat of a drop for Tesla, but it's not the end of the world because they could easily make a very, very historic looking comeback. You can see their EPS has been just increasing and increasing and increasing. They really did a good job at improving their margins as of like the last year or so, but going into more recent data, their margins are actually taking a hit because of difficulties from a macroeconomic standpoint. So when you actually look at the data, this is just hypothetical, guys, kind of like just very brief. If you look at what Kathy Wood would probably agree with, and this is not just like based off cars, but also different segments of Tesla, from Tesla like energy and storage, and also AI technology, and etc. But looking at the different assets that Tesla has and Optimus and etc., you could see deliveries are going to likely continue to increase as the years go on for bigger and bigger increases. Could Tesla reach 20 million deliveries per year as time progresses? Not necessarily a guarantee, but they can get close if they keep setting the bar high. Now, the growth for 2023 in terms of deliveries may not be extremely, extremely high compared to how it could have been if it wasn't for the recession. This could even be lower depending on when the recession really takes place, how it affects Tesla. This could be a lot lower too. We could see this not as high as what it could have been. This is just hypothetical, by the way. But the bottom line is whether Tesla makes a big recovery this year or not depends on when the market or if the market crashes and if the recession ends up being extremely severe and different factors like that. I personally think that the recession is going to be more severe than what the Fed was projecting, and it's going to be very painful for millions of Americans. And I do believe there is going to be more downside for the markets. So Tesla's high of the year could be somewhere around here because I don't know if Tesla's going to see a big recovery by the end of the year if the crash comes early or if the crash is going to come like later and the high is already in. I don't really know, guys, but this is just hypothetical, right? And I feel like these next 2 years don't matter as much because I showed you Tesla's share price could run hundreds of dollars in just a matter of weeks. The thing is just a monster. So by the time we get to 2025, it would not be unrealistic to think that Tesla could actually surpass 600 and get all the way up to $800 a share based off crazy high deliveries, their Optimus robots, their FSD technology, the growth in AI and the robotaxi, and very, very big amounts of hype for different products from the Cybertruck continuing to grow, the Roadster, and new models to come. All of those things could help with deliveries and the revenue and EPS. I expect beats and beats and beats like crazy as the years go on. Then, on top of that, deliveries should continue to increase. The market cap will increase in revenue, and we're going to see better earnings per share as the time goes on relative to like right now. So, as a result of this, we could see Tesla break $1,000 by like 2026. Could we get to 2000 by 2027? I mean, it's a possibility, but even if Kathy Wood is just half right, Kathy Wood, I mean, what's interesting about her is when she makes these predictions, right? Investors are going to be looking at her targets, just like how she was predicting Tesla going to particular numbers back in like 2021, I believe, and Tesla ended up reaching that target. Well, it's because investors were looking at her numbers and they saw exactly where Tesla might go to, and they kept buying and buying and buying as we approached those targets. So, this move by her, saying high targets like this, could increase the odds of them happening because now she set a bar, she set a target. So, it does increase the odds of it happening in my eyes, as investors are just going to be pouring money in retail as well as Tesla continues to grow. So, is it possible? Is Kathy Wood saying the truth? It's very possible she is correct. But even if she's half correct, which I don't think she's going to be that far off, but even if she's half correct, we could still see Tesla reach $1,000 a share by 2027, even if she's half correct. That's still crazy growth for 5 years. And let me show you how crazy the growth is. Because when you look at these targets, right, think about two things. The first thing is we're at 165. That's actually 12 times less than where Kathy Wood's $2,000 target is. 12xing in terms of share price in just a couple of years is crazy growth, insane growth. And that's what makes Tesla so great because it's a company that's actually still growing. It's still in a growth phase. Different companies are not in major growth phases anymore, but they still grow, of course, but they're not in the like exponential growth phases that Tesla could still be in. And then on top of that, you have to remember the opportunity that is coming right now. Because yes, okay, Tesla might try to pump a little bit, sure it may, but if there's another crash in the stock market in the future, hypothetically, to me, it doesn't matter if Tesla's at 160, 150, if it comes down to 140, even if it breaks down to 100, it does not matter. I don't care. I don't care whatsoever how low it goes. I am buying and buying and buying. This could also be a very good opportunity to buy options, buy long-term leaps on Tesla, not financial advice, by the way, but because they're going to print like crazy for years to come. Crazy, crazy gains are going to be made once people learn how to actually play Tesla and they look at the growth that's most likely going to come. The market's very forward looking. So what else could happen is Tesla could have its hands in so many different businesses that the market prices a lot of that in so many years in advance, and Tesla just squeezes to the absolute moon. That's happened before. It could most definitely happen again. So yes, Kathy Wood could be right. And once again, even if she's half right, even if she's wrong and we only go to like 1,000 by then, that is still a crazy return, right? A super crazy return if you're buying Tesla at 160 or even 100 flats if it does come down again, 140, wherever. I'm not going to worry or predict where it's going to drop to, guys. I'm just saying hypothetically, wherever it goes, even at current levels, that's crazy growth for just 5 years, right? Crazy, crazy growth, crazy, crazy opportunities from Tesla. I'm extremely bullish for the super long term, right? I'm still very bullish. Kathy Wood is most likely going to be correct, though. And finally, the last thing I wanted to say is the fact that there's so much opportunity in the stock, but you have to be very careful with it because a lot of people they like to just YOLO all their money to Tesla, and this is not necessarily a very bullish cycle we're in as of right now. I say that because dollar cost averaging would be a much better strategy. And once again, I'm not giving financial advice, but it would be so you could actually buy the dip slowly and slowly and slowly as it drops to bring your cost basis down. And then crazy returns can still be made. So Tesla is going to be a monster. It's a sleeping giant, and it has so much growth to come. And I do agree with Kathy Wood. I think it's very possible that we could get to 2000 by 2027 or 2028, around that time, and in the next 5 years. Or, or even if she's just half right, it's still going to be a crazy, crazy return on investment. It's going to be worth trillions. And this is just the beginning. We are very lucky and privileged to be looking at such a bullish stock right now. And you have to remember, options could be a very, very great way to build insane amounts of wealth. And once again, big opportunities are coming. So I thank you all for listening. I just wanted to mention that I do agree that Kathy Wood has a very good point, and she's most likely going to be correct. And I'm extremely bullish for the long term. I may say things about Tesla that are kind of bearish for the short term, but don't forget that I'm still very bullish going into the long term. I have some merch for you guys if you're interested in buying anything. Just check out either below or above the comment section. If you want to buy a shirt or something like that, it's really your choice. A shirt, a hoodie, or a tank top. And with that out of the way, thank you all so much for listening. Tesla to the moon, because the long term future is still incredibly bright. And peace out.